It is
Recording in progress.
It is 8 o'clock. Can we start with our meeting? Yes, good morning, members. Good morning, our support staff. You are all welcome to this extraordinary meeting. And let me appreciate your presence, members. This is based on our request that we meet and deal with only two items. The items are reflected on the on the system. Let's just do our protocols. Let's request our secretary to give us the apologies, attendance and apologies. Nandiba.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, everyone in the platform. There's an apology from Mr. Tebekulu. He's attending the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture meeting. And there's also a request from Ms. Lekwase. She has a meeting starting at 9. So she will log off just before 9, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Nandiba. Members, let's, without any waste of time, let's carry on. We've got only two items to deal with, and this is a consideration of a report on the MONUSCO employment letter, and the second one is briefing on high-level overview on of 2026 defense budget. Can we move for the adoption of the agenda, honourable members?
I move for adoption, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Nihos. Can you have the seconder?
Chairperson, and I second.
Thank you very much. The agenda is adopted. Let's move straight into the issues. We are going to hand over to our content advisor to give us a report on the MONUSCO report. Dr. van Rensburg.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning to all members. Is my screen visible on your side with the draft report?
The screen is visible from where I am, even if it's I cannot see properly. From my side, it's visible. I don't know other members here. Just increase it again. If you can.
It seems
Chairperson, it's visible.
It's visible. Okay, thanks. Yeah, let's proceed there, Doc.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, this is a relatively short point for consideration by the committee, but importantly so, this relates to the letter of deployment from the President that was tabled in Parliament regarding the deployment to the in support of the United Nations mission in the DRC and the wrapping up of that deployment. It also relates to the committee's work end of last year on 13 December, where the committee visited Bloemfontein and the mobilization center there regarding this deployment. And then thirdly, I think this is a significant point because this is the first time that the committee actually implements the adopted SOP or internal SOP on how to deal with these letters of deployment. So by meeting today, and I really wish to thank you, chairpersons and members for taking this time to do this quick meeting. It's really significant that we stick to our internally adopted SOP and work through this and stick with the timeframes that the SOP determined. By doing so, we're also sticking to the legislative requirements in the Defence Act and the Constitution. So just to go through the two-page report, it's a fairly standard report. The areas in red are specifically to note as we will make changes to those if required. But this is then the draft report of the presidential letter of deployment of the SANDF in support of international obligations, and it's dated for today if members choose to adopt so. Introduction, that just to note again that this is in terms of Joint Rule 156.1 of the Joint Rules of Parliament that requires the Joint Standing Committee of Defence to report to both houses on the employment of the SANDF by the President in fulfillment of an international obligation or in defense of the Republic or in cooperation with the police service. Those three deployment types requires this committee to report back to the Houses of Parliament. The letter for consideration, we briefly went through it on our meeting on Friday. But just to recap, that it is a letter dated 13 February from the President, and it was submitted to the Speaker of the National Assembly and was officially tabled in Parliament. This is when we saw it on the 27th of February. The letter complies with the requirements of Section 201 of the Constitution, as well as the Defence Act's various sections, in that it supplies the following. It notes that the SANDF is deploying for an international obligation. It notes the deployments of 450 members. It notes the aim of the deployment being to ensure the phased withdrawal of the SANDF from the MONUSCO mission. It also notes the exact dates, 1 February till 31 July 2026. And then in terms of the Defence Act requirements, it notes the expenditure projected to be incurred as 883.2 million. Consideration of deployment letters. Then we propose that Parliament's Joint Standing Committee of Defence considered the relevant letters during the meeting of 3 March, which is today. The committee also held engagements with the Minister of Defence and Chief of the SANDF's joint operations on the details of the deployment on 13 December 2025. If there are any specific aspects members would like to note during today's meeting, we can add them to the report here. And then we simply note the following, this is proposed members, but members can consider this. In compliance with Joint Rule 156.1, and after having considered the details of the deployment, according to the presidential letter dated 13 February, the committee notes the deployment. That's the standard wording we use, is the committee notes the deployment and does not recommend to the Houses of Parliament to consider the amendment, substitution, or termination of the deployment. Chair, I'll hand back to you, Chair. That's the proposed report. Members can are welcome to add specifically to this section if there are any observations we can make, but the recommendation is just simply to note this. And then finally also that the report will not be for consideration. If this is the adopted wording, it will just to be noted to the Houses. Thank you, Chair. I'll hand back to you.
Thank you, Doc. Honourable members, there you are. This is a short presentation by Dr. van Rensburg with regard to the deployment and our responsibility in terms of the joint rules of Parliament. Okay, I see hands. Members, I was going to. Okay, let's deal with this and then we'll go to the next. Let me start with Honourable Windy Plagis, then Honourable Nihaus, you'll follow. Honourable Plagis. Honourable Plagis. Honourable Plagis. Okay, let's.
Can you hear me, Chair?
Yes, well, we can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Morning, Chair. Morning, honourable members. Chair, as the recommendation is saying, and I think there was already announcement, and I think it's proper for the recommendation to say we note it, and that is all that we can do, is to note the deployment and what have transpired. I will move that we adopt the letter and the report as is, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Plagis. Honourable Nihaus.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, the report is perfectly straightforward. I've just got one concern. I don't know if it's appropriate to raise it and include it in this report. Alternatively, we should find another avenue to raise our concern with the Speaker. We want to abide by the various provisions of the Constitution. We also want to abide by the various timelines that are required. But this report was already, this letter was already sent on the 13th of February, and we only received it on the 27th of February. So I don't know if we couldn't include one sentence under the second part of the report to say the committee note with concern that we received the report only on the 27th of February, while the letter from the President was already sent on the 13th of February. That's just a concern, and I think we should highlight it. Beyond that, with that proposed amendment, I second the adoption of the report. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Niehaus. Honorable Priyat.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, firstly, thank you to the committee staff for this report. I just have a brief amendment. We had the meeting on the 15th of December, not the 13th of December. The 13th of December was their last deployment, and the 15th was the Monday before the Day of Reconciliation. So that's my first one. And Chairperson, I agree with the Honourable Niehaus in terms of the fact that it has taken 2 weeks for Parliament to ATC the letter for us to actually consider it, and that is worrying. I don't necessarily I don't necessarily know if it should be in this report or not. Maybe Dr. van Rensburg can advise us, but I do agree that it should be noted, because that is a big impediment in the work of the committee. So thank you, Chairperson. That's all from my side.
Thank you, Honorable Priyat. Honorable Thokozile.
Thank you very much. Greetings to you, Chairperson, and the honourable members. Chair, I want to second the honourable members, but to say that this issue of the date, we need to take it separately, not include it here, so that we deal with that one with the Speaker, not include it now. Then I want to second everything to the correspondence that we adopt and note this letter that has been written. Thank you.
Thank you, honourable members. I think you are all very, very short and brief and straight to the points, and we really appreciate it, honourable members. Dr. van Rensburg, do you want to respond to the concern of members?
Thank you, Chair. Just to thank you, Ms. Breed, for the date correction. You are indeed correct. It was the 15th of December. And then in line with the proposals made by Honourable Niehaus and Ms. Sokanile, I suggest the following wording: that we note the 2-week period between the dates and it being ATC in Parliament, but then in line with Ms. Sokanile's suggestion, and I think this would be the right approach, is we note it here, but the committee then can agree to engage the Speaker of the National Assembly and the Chairperson of the NCOP on the matter. And perhaps we could just write a separate letter from the Chairpersons to them to ask for clarity on the matter. So that would be my suggestion for the final report, Chair.
Thank you. That's a proposal by our content advisor. Honourable Niehaus, do you want to?
Yes, Chair. I just wanted to thank our researcher for having captured exactly correct what the concern is, and I think it also captures the position that our whip has proposed. So with these amendments, I therefore propose adoption of the report. Thank you.
Thank you, honourable members. Can we have the seconder of the? Can we have the seconder of the report as amended? Can you have the seconder of the adoption of the report as amended, honourable members?
Good morning, Chair.
Yes, go. Hala, yeah.
Honourable Ala? Honourable Hala? Are you?
Second, Chair.
Well, thank you very much. The report is adopted. Let's move, honourable members, to the next presentation. We are going to give Honourable Mr. Dr. Steenkamp Fonseca to present honourable members on the budget. Doc, the platform is yours.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honourable members. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Dr. Steenkamp.
Thank you, and I hope you can see my screen as well.
Yes, we can see it. Members, can you see the screen?
Yes, Chairperson, we can see and hear.
Thank you
Yes,
very much.
Chair.
Let's proceed.
What is that budget for now?
I'm
Okay,
doing a
this-
brief
Was
defense
it on
budget
the
overview.
agenda?
It was on our agenda, Honorable
No,
Vice.
no, I'm requesting that because I thought it was this issue. We cannot be bombarded with a budget early in the morning while attending other meetings, Chairperson. It was not on the agenda.
No, it was on the agenda, Honorable Supangile. You did not see it, so you can be excused. We will proceed, Honorable Supangile. Sorry about that. Let's
I will
proceed.
be excused. What are you saying, Honorable Hall?
You are saying you've got other things to attend. I'm saying this was on the agenda.
I
It was on
shouldn't
the
be part
it was,
of this meeting. Are you saying that?
No. I'm saying this was in the agenda. It was proposed in last week that we have these two items. So it was in the agenda. You may have not seen it, Honorable Sokanyile. And I'm saying if you've got other things, it's fine. You'll be excused. Can we proceed, honorable members? Proceed, Doc.
Thank you, Chair. I will be brief. I've got the overview here of the budget and some highlights and lowlights. On the screen, you'll see there that the defense budget for 2025-2026 is at 59 billion, and it will go down to 57.6 billion next year, with a slight increase, only a marginal increase, up to 61.7 billion by 2028-2029. When we look at the increase, it's a 1.5% average annual growth. Factoring in inflation above 3%, this is not real growth. The fastest growing programs are administration at 3.7% growth, general support at 3.6% growth, and military health support at 3.5% growth. The largest decrease is on force employment, and this has to do with the withdrawal from the DRC, which I'll speak about soon. The decline here is a drop of an average of 12%. The largest allocation is to landward defense. This is the army, and it is about 32 to 33% of the total expenditure, with only moderate growth at 1.8%. If we were to look at the defense budget as a percentage of the total national budget, South Africa is spending 4.9% of its total national budget on national defense. And this figure is consistent through the medium-term period. So the defense budget as a proportion of the total budget remains constant, but it's below 5%. In terms of the personnel and the cost of employment, there are personnel increases across all programs. Administration and general support grow the most. They grow at 6.2% and 4.1% respectively. So we're moving towards a situation of an administration army rather than a fighting force. In terms of the total number, we see an increase from 70,872 members to 74,932 members in the medium term. So we're seeing an increase in the size of the total SANDF, but the majority of that increase in percentage terms happening in administration and support. As the President mentioned at the SONA speech, the international deployment is a withdrawal from the UN mission MONUSCO in the DRC, and this is reflected in the medium-term budget. Under the sub-program Regional Security, we see a decrease from 3.3 billion in the current budget down to 890 million in the medium term. So this withdrawal is being reflected in the budget in this decrease. We also heard from the President about the internal deployment and support to SAPs in 3 provinces. And we see here an increase under the heading support to the people, and it's 4.2 billion over the medium term. There will be 1 billion additional coming from the CARA fund for the internal deployment of the SNDF. In terms of border safeguarding, in response to the BRRR, we note that there's an additional 1.7 billion additionally allocated to border safeguarding. This has been earmarked by National Treasury, so any expenditure outside of that has to get National Treasury approval, and it's been earmarked for prioritization of equipment and mobility and a greater use of technology, as per the request of the Portfolio Committee on Defence and Military Veterans. What we do note, however, in the budget is that we do not see an increase in the number of units that are being deployed at the borders. It remains at 15 per year through to 2029, but we have heard from the Defence and from our oversight visits that there should be 22 subunits. So the number of units does not increase, they just get strengthened in terms of their technology. There's additional allocations in the Navy and in the Air Force. 3.7 billion is allocated to the Navy in the medium term for the Maritime Combat Capabilities sub-program. From that, we also see about 340 million reprioritized over the next 3 years from goods and services to strengthen maritime defense program. In the Air Force, we see the additional allocation of 1.4 billion in the medium term for the fighter capability, for the air combat capability as per the BRRR. And again, these allocations are ring-fenced, and the committee should maintain oversight and vigilance over that expenditure, that it is in fact ring-fenced. What I've also noted from the budget is the executive increase. Quite surprisingly, we see about 150% increase in the ministry expenditure, from about 60 billion to over 150 billion. That's a bit of an anomaly. Might want to inquire what accounts for that expenditure, and it continues to be at that high level into the medium term. In the longer term, what is the picture? Extrapolating from the budget review, by 2029, out of every 100 rand that the government spends, 36 rand goes to social transfers, 28 is the provincial transfers, 18 rand is our interest payment as a country, 10 rand 70 cents goes to all other government departments, excluding defense, and out of the 100 rand that government spends, defense gets 2 rand 30 cents. So that's the overall picture in the longer term, and potentially any increase of the defense budget to 1.5% of GDP or any such figure isn't reflected in what was presented last week. I have overly simplified the complex budget. I'm happy to answer some questions, and I'm happy to do any further research should member want. So I return to you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Stiankam. Honourable members, there is a high level, it's a summary of the budget which is related to the defence. It's unfortunate members would not have much time, but it's important that we understand the budget with regard to what the president said over the last week at the Armed Forces Day, that will be moving from 0.7 to 1.5. And you have heard here, honorable members, Dr. Van Steenkamp saying there are monies which are ring-fenced for Air Force, for the maritime, and also for the land work. So those are important things which we really need to focus on. And you have heard when he says we need to focus, do our oversight on this ring-fence allocation. So I'm handing over to you, honorable members. Any one of you can raise a hand, and let's get some clarity on this.
I've raised my hand, Chair. Can you see?
I don't see the hands. Sorry, honorable. I'm also preparing to go into the boss. I see honorable Nihas. I see honorable Priyat. Let's start with you, honorable Nihas, and honorable Priyat, and honorable Noah. Let's respond in that order. Thank you very much, honorable Nihas.
Thank you, Chair, and I want to thank Dr. Steenkamp for this high-level overview. What I would like to propose is that we take this as information tabled to us, that we do not get into a detailed discussion about this overview at this stage, because we don't really have time. Perhaps we can just ask questions where we would like to direct Dr. Steenkamp to do some further research. I would like Dr. Steenkamp to give a further breakdown of this trend towards expenditure on administration. As he said, we are now becoming a defense force dedicated to administration and not to fighting. And I would like to again have a breakdown of exactly how much go to the cost of employment within this increase of administration. Overall, I think there are more low points to this budget than high points. It continues to be disappointing that the budget has not really increased. In fact, in real terms, there has been a decrease in this budget. We still continue to be confused about the commitment that the president continues to express about 1.5% of GDP, while the trends in the budget seem to go in the opposite direction. So we will have to inquire and interrogate these issues as we proceed with more detailed engagements about the budget as we prepare also for our responses to the budget in the National Assembly. But those are just my immediate comments, Chair. But what I really propose is that we take this as information given to us, very useful information, and that we engage this information at a later stage in more detail. But perhaps today just ask some questions in terms of directing Dr. Steenkamp to do some more research on some of these issues. I'd also like him to give us an indication of what the international norms are about expenditure on administration and specifically on employment costs of effective, successful defense forces throughout the world. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Nihas. Honorable Priyat.
Thank you, Chairperson. And yes, I want to agree, and I want to thank Dr. Steenkamp for this brief overview. I think it is very vital. The first thing is I just want to 100% get clarity on the additional increase in the executive and the ministry's budget. I think Dr. Steenkamp said that it's 150% increase. So I just want to get clarity 100% on that, because that is quite worrying, because what I assume that is not necessarily, that's not a detailed expenditure, so we don't know what it is going to. That's my first question. And then I also agree with Honourable Niehaus that we need to discuss this in depth, but I think this has given us a very good starting block. My question is, and I think Dr. Steenkamp said that that there is, the largest allocation goes to land defense, but there is additional allocations to both the Air Force, to the SAF and to the SAN, to the Navy. And as you will remember, colleagues, when we were in Saldanha and Langebaan, a particular reiteration from them was in terms of maintenance and in terms of fleet. And I would like to know, with these ring-fenced allocations, is there any indication what that is ring-fenced for within the SAF and the SAN? And is there a specific line item in terms of your maintenance and your fleet? Because I think it is quite worrying. If you look at, we have a fleet of over 35 aeroplanes to train pilots, but currently only 5 on any given day is operating. And we're using our Silver Falke, our display aeroplanes, to be training people. I think that is ultimately worrying. You know, the SAN and the SAF are very dear to my heart. So I'm just worried that in terms of even the additional allocations, we will not see our strengthening of our Navy. And I agree with Honourable Niehaus in terms of the administration and the increase therein, and not on the other programs. I think that is worrying. So, Chairperson, maybe let me just leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Priat. Honourable Noah.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Honourable members. Maybe my issue might have been somehow covered, but let me just say it. I think there is a need somehow to get further information as far as the balance where Dr. Steenkamp says more is going into the increase of personnel which are not in the forefront, right? He said more than into the force that's in the forefront of combat. So, what is the effect of that? That means that increase of personnel, to what extent is it serving purpose? Is there an indication that shows that that increase is adding value somehow, and to what extent it affects in the area where it is like? Thank you, Chair.
Honourable Noe, are you still on?
No, I'm done. Thank you, Chair.
You're done. Thank you very much. Honourable members, I think, yeah, this is a high-level presentation. We have all had what the Dr. Steenkamp presented. I think it's very important that we understand, you know, we understand how our budget has been allocated to the defense force. This high-level presentation will assist us to engage on issues of a budget with regard to all the Hello, can you hear me, members?
I can hear you, Chair.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so I was saying, I think as we propose that we must note and understand that these allocations will be able to engage in all our committees with regard to this current allocation. But let's I don't know if there's anyone who still want to speak on this matter. But if there's none, honourable members, let me thank you all. I'm now in a on transit. We'll engage further on these issues of budget. But thank you very much, and the meeting stands adjourned.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, colleagues. Goodbye.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much.